Welcome to this explainer. We are jumping straight into demystifying grow bag sizes today so you can confidently match your plants to the absolute perfect container and get the best possible yields. You know, whether you're gardening on a tiny balcony, a spacious terrace, or just trying to maximize a corner of your backyard, choosing the correct size grow bag is honestly one of the most critical steps to successful container gardening.
So, let's start with a really common, really annoying frustration. Picture this. You buy the best seeds, you spend hours mixing the perfect soil with compost and cocoa peat, and you water faithfully every single day. But then, your plants just stop growing. Or maybe they completely wilt the second that afternoon heat hits. Why does this keep happening? Well, the data from our gardening sources points to a surprising culprit that so many beginners completely overlook.
It turns out choosing the right container size is just as crucial as the soil itself. The bag you pick directly affects root health, moisture retention, and your final harvest. I mean, every plant grows roots under the soil, right? And if those roots don't get enough physical space, the plant gets weak, gets stressed, and simply stops growing.
I absolutely love this analogy from our source material. Choosing the wrong size is like wearing shoes 3 sizes too small. It just won't work. Putting a plant in a bag that is too small heavily restricts the roots and literally sets you up for failure right from the jump. You're basically going to be fighting that plant its entire life cycle.
And it's a night and day difference. A bag that's too small dries out rapidly and suffocates those roots, leaving you with zero margin for error on a hot summer day. On the flip side, getting the correct size ensures vital moisture retention, proper nutrient absorption, and ultimately a strong, healthy plant with a heavy yield.
Let's break this down. Section 1. Small bags for small roots. We're looking at 6 by 6 to 9 by 9 inches, which is about 2 to 5 gallons.
All right, here's your cheat sheet for these smaller setups. These are your Goldilocks fit for shallow-rooted plants. Leafy greens, think spinach, radishes, and methy, they absolutely thrive in just 6 to 8 inches of depth. For your herb corner, a 6 by 6 inch bag is incredible for basil or thyme. And small flowers, like petunias, they do wonderfully in a 9 by 9 inch setup.
The great thing here is you can create vertical herb walls or hang these smaller bags right from a balcony rail to save a ton of space. But, and this is a big but, remember a key operational detail. Because these bags are small, they dry out super quickly. You should definitely expect to be watering your greens daily.
Moving on to Section 2, medium bags for heavy yields. These are 12 by 12 to 15 by 15 inches, or roughly 5 to 10 gallons.
So, the big takeaway here is that fruiting plants have roots that really need to spread out. Chilies, eggplants, tomatoes, they demand 12 to 15 inches of depth because their roots spread sideways and need controlled, consistent watering. And if you're growing root veggies like potatoes or carrots, you'll want to push toward that 15 by 15 inch size so the tubers actually have the physical space to expand underground.
When you get this sweet spot right and give a tomato plant the full 5 to 10 gallons of soil it actually needs, it builds this incredible root foundation. That foundation is what supports heavy, beautiful clusters of fruit, rather than the plant just getting stunted and dropping all its blossoms early. Next up, Section 3, large bags for big plants. We are talking 18 by 18 all the way up to 24 by 24 inches and beyond. It is honestly mind-blowing what you can achieve without a traditional garden bed. You can legitimately grow dwarf papayas, bananas, and fig trees right on a balcony if you use a 24 by 24 inch bag. This gives them the massive soil volume required to support a tall, heavy plant over multiple growing seasons.
Now, a massive benefit of these larger bags, as highlighted heavily by our gardening experts, is moisture control. Bigger bags require deeper, but much less frequent watering. If you live in a hot, dry climate, going up a bag size gives you a huge margin for error. The larger volume of soil basically acts as a buffer, keeping the roots cool and hydrated even when the midday sun is just beating down.
Finally, Section 4, avoiding common sizing mistakes. Let's save you some time, money, and of course, your plants.
Let's run through these yield killers real quick. First, do not buy tiny bags just to save a few pennies. You are absolutely going to pay for it in lost harvests. Second, don't use the exact same size bag for every single plant. You have to treat a deep-rooted tomato differently than a shallow-rooted radish. Third, whatever you do, don't overcrowd multiple plants into one small bag. And lastly, always think about the mature plant's root depth, not just the size of the tiny seedling you're holding in your hand today.
To wrap up the technical side of things, if you only remember one rule from our sources today, Make it this golden rule. While both depth and width matter, root depth is fundamentally more important than width for developing strong vegetables. A shallow bag will restrict roots and stunt your plant, even if the bag is incredibly wide. So always double-check the root type before you plant.
So, armed with this explainer, you aren't just guessing anymore. You are literally engineering a high-yield harvest from the roots up. The difference between a struggling seedling and a heavy, abundant harvest all comes down to the container you choose to use today. So, what ambitious plant are you going to give a proper home to next? Let us know and keep exploring.